Welcome back to the 815 Exchange. I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live once again from the 336 for episode 18 of the 815 Exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again for another week on a Monday. We'll see if today's episode gets up on a Monday. Last week had some difficulties with Adobe Premiere Pro. Low shout out to Adobe for Premiere Pro. It's a great application to edit with. If you're looking to figure out how to edit videos, I definitely recommend Premiere. It's a great program. Had a little issues. I actually could have uploaded it on Monday, but episode's doing well and we got it out and it looked great. So that's really the goal, be able to provide content for you guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, timestamps are in the description. Social medias are in the description. And at the end of the video, go follow me at those different types of links. Okay. What should we start off with? We are here finally in December. So happy December. We have made it to the last month of this horrific year. Well, I mean, for some people it's been a good year, and I guess I'll talk about some of those people who have had a very good year. And also, as you see, I got my water here. Remember to stay hydrated, ladies and gentlemen. Deer Park is our unofficial water sponsor. Deer Park, once again, if for some reason you are watching this, not that you are, send me like a case. We can do this whole sponsorship thing. I feel like it'd be mutually beneficial. Nonetheless, got plenty to talk about today. I wasn't sure at first, but turns out we got plenty to talk about. So let me get straight to it and get rid of the intro. We got college football also for those that want to get kind of a scope of what we got today. College football, combat sports, music and TV and film in this situation. College basketball, the NFL, and of course the Roundup. I will start off with combat sports, because there's been a lot of interesting stuff happening in the combat sports world, particularly in this case boxing. I do know that I'll mention it in passing here. Marvin Vettori really established himself among the elite in the middleweight, or possibly among the elite. He took out Jack Hermanson. It was a very good fight at UFC Fight Night this past weekend. I know that happened, but I really want to focus in on boxing. As the big matchup, we had Errol Spence Jr. This man is on the top 10 pound for pound list. Returned from that very scary, and if you've seen the footage of the wreck, what a blessing it is for him to be able to come out of that as healthy as he did, and even just be able to box and walk again. Because crashed his Ferrari about a year ago. But one of the kings of the welterweight will say, I'll get to that after I mention about this fight, took on Danny Garcia. Garcia, great fighter in his own right, former world champion. But this fight was all Errol Spence. I think I had it 8-4. I think that's what my rounds ended up with. I think I had it 8-4. And of course, it was a unanimous decision. For those that don't know, Errol looked very good. He had a little bit of ring rust, like he mentioned in his interview, but Errol Spence looked like Errol Spence. He did what he had to do. He pretty much, I would say, was in control of the fight pretty much the entire time. And of course, this all leads to what us as boxing fans, what we are begging for at this point. We want Errol Spence Jr. versus Bud Crawford. It has to happen. It has to happen. The two kings of the welterweight division. I know Manny Pacquiao is a factor, but Manny's had a great career. This is about Errol and Bud. This is the fight to make. I don't want to see them fight anybody else. I don't need to see another tune-up fight. Y'all, tune-up fights were Kell Brook and Danny Garcia. We need Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. I think Errol said he wants to fight again in the summer. Let's make it happen. It fits both the time frames for both of them. Top rank, PBC, man. Let's stop the crap. Let's just make it happen. Let's start unifying. We don't need boxing. One of the parts I think that takes away from boxing is there's so many different belts because of all of the different organizations and associations in boxing, that it's better when we have unified champions, which because it means the best are fighting the best. So hopefully we can get that next summer. Other boxing news, and I know a lot of boxing fans were upset. And listen, of course I'm talking about Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Like when there's celebrity baseball or softball matches or celebrity flag football games, it doesn't take away from those sports. Think of this matchup. This is just an exhibition. This is not a mockery of the sport. Both of them are going to, well, Logan will take it serious. I don't know how much fun. I mean, Floyd's going to coast to a win, let's be honest here. So we'll see how serious he takes it. But this isn't a mockery of the sport. It actually probably puts more eyes on the sport. This is going to do numbers. This fight is going to do numbers. And that's part of the reason, like, I respect it. I think I put this in a tweet. I'll probably flash up. I probably have the graphic for the fight here, so the tweet will be right here. Yeah, I respect it. They're going to get a big bag for this. The Logan enjoys boxing. He said it multiple times. I guess it's because I knew this fight was going to happen ahead of time. If you keep up with really both of them, but especially Logan, you watch Impulsive or whatever, he's been teasing this for months. And he's already in camp, so it'll be an interesting one. I think Floyd's going to coast. I don't think it's going to be like Nate and Jake because I don't think that's their type of beef there. I think this is just a bag for both of them. Logan is a much bigger man than Floyd, so I don't know what the weight class is going to be here or if it's just going to be like an open weight fight, which is probably what it's going to be. Logan's also taller, so we'll see. I mean, Floyd's the greatest of all time. Even if he's out of his prime and been retired, I mean, I wouldn't expect the L here. And yeah, it should be a very interesting one. I'm sure we will have plenty of comments and moments to talk about it here in this section as time goes on and we get closer to the fight. Sliding over, wow, almost on a voice crack. Sliding over to college football. Western Kentucky took on Charlotte. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, my Charlotte 49ers, my school, we finally played a football game, even though we currently probably lead the country in cancellations. In fact, the biggest thing of note in this game, by the way, we lost 37-19, so you know it is what it is. It's been a weird season. The 36 days in between our last game and the game we played yesterday, actually, on Sunday. That 36-day window is the longest break in between games, regular season games, in FBS history. That's how many cancellations. I was about to text one of my friends on the team and be like, are y'all playing football the rest of the season? What's the deal here? COVID has hit, and it's not even always been like it's been Charlotte that's had it. It's just been unlucky, and Western Kentucky outplays us. That's pretty much the end of the story. That's all the comments I really got about that one. However, in other news, and calling my college football teams that I'm personally fans of, USC took on Washington State yesterday. We took the dub 38-13. The real Keaton Slovis, the one that's gotten all the hype, one's been given all the acclaim, he showed up yesterday. 25 for 32, 287, 5 touchdowns. Great game from Keaton. Big shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's going to make some NFL team so very happy. So very happy in next year's draft. He's definitely one of the best receivers, I think, in the country. I think he's a little bit underrated because of him having to spread the load amongst our other great receivers and just kind of situation. But he's definitely one to watch out for in the upcoming draft. 4 touchdowns for him in the first quarter, ties the Pac-12 record in the first quarter. This was a great game as a USC fan to watch, especially that first half. But big win. We're not headed to the college football playoff, of course. But I think we're the only undefeated team possibly left in the Pac-12. amongst at least the original contenders. So, we'll take it. We'll take it. Hopefully, we can get to the Pac-12 championship and see how that goes. Ohio State, 52-12, they get the win. Justin Fields, 303. He had 4 touchdowns. That's 303 total yards. He had 4 touchdowns. They took on Michigan State. This was complete domination. Trey Sermon, who I really thought was going to have a bigger impact this year, 112 and a touchdown. Chris Olave, we're talking about great receivers. Olave definitely needs to be in that discussion. 10 receptions, 139, 1 touchdown. Ohio State headed to the Big Ten Championship yet again. One of the best teams in the country. We already know this. Currently number 14 in the country. We'll see how them against Northwestern goes, but I would fully expect for them to get the dub. TCU gets the win over Oklahoma State late, 29-22. Let's see. Oh, and one of the biggest upsets of the year, actually. Rice took out Marshall 20-0. Grant Wells had 5 picks. He hadn't had 5 picks all year total. But nothing went right for Marshall. I think Marshall was like almost a 30-something point favorite, and they got shut out at home against Rice. Tough. That's tough. We'll see how Wells, real young quarterback, I think he's a freshman, redshirt freshman. Been great so far. We'll see how he can recover from a 5-pick game. Notre Dame takes out Syracuse 45-21. Ian Book, 338 yards combined, 5 touchdowns. He becomes the winningest quarterback of all of the great quarterbacks Notre Dame's had, all the quarterbacks you've heard them talk about. Ian Book has certainly placed himself, I think, amongst the great ones they've had. He becomes their winningest quarterback, their all-time winningest quarterback. Most wins in Notre Dame history. So shout out to him. I know the announcer was talking about him in the Heisman convo. I don't know about putting him in, but he's very close, I think. Definitely deserves some acknowledgement. And yeah. Clemson beat Virginia Tech 45-10. It just did not go right at all. It wasn't even like Clemson played their finest game. Certainly Trevor didn't play his finest game. Etienne, I think they said it was his 5th or 6th game under 100 yards. I don't know. Etienne's been kind of in a slump as of late, though Clemson's reserve backs did run the ball well. Virginia Tech, nothing went wrong. I'm trying to get a word on what happened to Hendon. Hoping he's okay. He's a friend of the family. Known him for a very long time. He was convulsing on the sideline. I've heard all kinds of stuff like hypothermia. I don't know exactly what went down. Hope to hear something soon. Hope he's okay. You hate to say that in any situation, but looked like he was off from the start. And Virginia Tech, just as a team, they were off the entire game. So rough one from Hokies fans. It hasn't been the year I think they expected. Clemson rolls on. They will take on Notre Dame in that highly anticipated ACC championship. Florida took on Tennessee. They get the win 31-19. Kyle Trask, who should be winning the Heisman Trophy. 433, 4 touchdowns, 35 for 49. Florida will take on Alabama in the SEC championship. As they won the SEC East. Great year from Florida. Great year from Trask and Pitts. Like I said, I think Trask is the Heisman frontrunner in my opinion. Let's see. Indiana, 14-6 over Wisconsin, and 2 ranked teams there. Indiana, man, what a year for them. What a year. Big shout out to Tom Allen. That interview after the game was beautiful. Seeing all he couldn't even really complete the interview because all of his players kept coming by and telling him, hey, yo, come play for the best coach in America. And this year, Tom Allen has certainly been one of the best coaches in America. Definitely got to be in that Coach of the Year conversation, I believe. And shout out to Indiana, man. Great game, 14-6. It was a very Big Ten game, very Big Ten-esque game if you watched it. But good win for them. Iowa State gets the win over West Virginia, 42-6. Brock Purdy, 20 for 23, 247. I know we talk about Breece Hall quite a bit, one of the best running backs in the nation, but I got to put some respect on Brock's name. He played a phenomenal game against West Virginia. I remember week 1 we talked about how Iowa State might be in trouble. What a way they've recovered since then, and really kind of circled the wagons and played like a Matt Campbell's Iowa State teams have played, and it's been great. So shout out to all my Cyclone fans. I talked about Oregon weeks, past like 3 weeks. I told y'all that we were overrated. I told y'all I wasn't impressed. Cal took them out 21-17. I don't think they should be ranked. I'm going to be completely honest. Oregon's not that good. They were overrated from the jump. I think they were almost a top 10 team at one point, but they're not. They're not. Oregon's just not. They're not as good as the preseason polls would have made you think. Bama takes LSU to the slaughterhouse, 55-17. This is a great time because I actually just took a screenshot of the stat line of the big three here. Mac Jones, 20 for 28, 385, 4 touchdowns. Najee Harris, 21, 145, and 3 touchdowns himself. Devontae Smith, 8 receptions, 231, 3 touchdowns. So the 3 Musketeers for Bama went off. As expected, Derek Stingley, I know he's playing hurt. He got torched for the 2nd straight year. Love him as a cornerback, love him as a prospect, especially when he's healthy. He got lit up. By Devontae Smith, who there needs to be a conversation about Devontae Smith, I feel, and it's somewhat pertaining to Jamar Chase, who of course did not play in this game for LSU as he is opted out before the season. I have to say, you have to wonder and maybe think a little bit here. Should Jamar Chase have played this year? He simultaneously made the right decision and did not make the right decision because all these receivers and players, and this is always the thing about, and was going to be the thing with players opting out, because you're going to get, I mean, he's going to win a first rounder, he still might go top 10, but you're leaving the opportunity for people to surpass you by not playing. And Devontae Smith is definitely starting to raise some eyebrows, and I'm starting to see scouts say maybe Jamar Chase isn't wide receiver 1. Even though he did all this great stuff, Devontae Smith is putting on performance after performance after performance. And it's a great receiver class, and at that top, Devontae Smith, I think, is surely making it very interesting. He's been very dominant, especially since Waddle got hurt. He stepped up tremendously. I think he should win the Biletnikoff if they're still handing that out this year. I think he's been the best receiver in the country this year. And yeah, Alabama, clearly the number 1 team in the country. LSU is just gotta hope that this was a year, just the championship game hangover, and that was it. And Oklahoma gets the win against Baylor, 27-14. Oklahoma moves on to the title game. They had that scare early on, but I noticed those Big 12 teams really that got touched early on have done a great job recovering and kind of putting it all together here. Game of the week, though, was absolutely, and probably, game of the week, not just because of the magnitude of the game, but also because of the actual game. Coastal Carolina versus BYU. Somebody's had to go. The 2 Power 5 teams, it was supposed to be Coastal versus... it wasn't Liberty, right? Or was it Liberty? That they were supposed to play. Anyways, BYU fills in anytime, any team, anywhere. Well, I don't know about that anymore because BYU's championship hopes vanquished in Coastal Carolina. Coastal remains the only undefeated team in South Carolina. They get the win 22-17. Grayson McCall might be what in next year. I think he's a redshirt freshman. In the next 1 to 2 years, we need to be on the lookout for Grayson McCall because he looked very good in terms of leadership and what he brought to that game and making the right decisions for that Coastal team. Though I have to give shout out to Marball, 23 carries, 132. He had 2 touchdowns. Shout out to Coastal Carolina. Who would have thought that they'd be sitting here at 10-0? Just took out BYU. In Zach Wilson, who's been getting all the hype. He didn't have a great game. But yeah, Coastal sitting here undefeated. I hope they get the respect that they deserve. At this point, an undefeated team, they got to be top. I don't care about their strength of schedule. Is not like the greatest. But neither is Ohio State's. I know, sure, we could say, I mean, obviously I would think Ohio State's a better team than Coastal. But Coastal deserves some respect here, I believe. I think they should be a top 10 team. I don't think that's out of pocket. It's not easy in the FBS, in college football, to go undefeated, regardless of your strength of schedule, because of the unpredictability of the sport. It's not easy. And Coastal's sitting here. They just knocked off a ranked team, a very good BYU team. So I just hope Coastal gets the respect in the polls. But yeah, great win for them. It was a great game if you watched it. Very entertaining. And yeah, college football. Sliding over here to music and film, we had a very quiet week in music, especially compared to the past couple weeks when it's been very interesting. I've had plenty to talk about. Don't really have much to talk about here. Nobody really dropped. Let's see. Shawn Mendes dropped Wonder. Rico Nasty, I forget what hers was called. Mario Judah. Well, I'll talk about. I'll give Shawn. I think I did listen to it. I'll give Wonder an 8.3. I'll give it an 8.3. I have to listen to it again. I think before I get a more concrete, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I've never listened to a full album of his in full until that one, and I know there's been a lot of talk about him diversifying his sound and would he be able to do that. I think he did a great job of that in this album, and it worked, and it made for some great songs. So if you're into that, that type of genre, that wave, that pop kind of wave, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, my artist of the year, however, quite possibly is Lil Baby. He dropped Everybody and On Me. I like both of them. I think Everybody was my favorite. Yeah, Baby hasn't really, I don't think he's missed this year, to be honest. My Turn was great, and everything he's released since that, the bigger picture, this stuff, his features, he's knocked it out of the park. Had a real breakout year. And probably should be getting some of these artists of the year. Is that, with all due respect, and I say this respectfully, that Meg is getting, and Meg doesn't really deserve. I feel like Baby should probably be getting some of those, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Shout out to Lil Baby, though. 2 great tracks. If you're a Baby fan, I'm sure you already listened to it. If you're a hip-hop fan, you probably already listened to it. If you haven't, though, I absolutely advocate going to do that. Mario Judah is taking Playboi Carti's entire... He's taking his whole wave. He's taking all the hype from him. The man has said he's going to release Whole Lotta Red himself. And, I'm a reserve judgment. But, on Twitter they were saying Mario Judah, he dropped a trap, I think, called... Yeah, Mario Judah dropped a song called Be Ya, which is basically a carbon copy of exactly what Carti's been doing, especially for the past 2 years. And some are saying that he did it, but Mario Judah is taking Playboi Carti's career, and there's literally nothing Carti is doing about it. I don't even know if I care to listen to Whole Lotta Red at this point. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if I like Carti or care about him enough as an artist to even listen to it at this point. But Mario Judah taking his whole thing. We'll see if Carti responds. Probably not, because, Carti doesn't really care anymore. Anyways, moving on to television. And really, we're talking about streaming services, because my goodness, HBO Max said, okay. HBO Max came out swinging. Well, I mean, they've been out for a while, but this was huge. and huge for movie theaters and movie theater enthusiasts. It's not looking great for you. Warner Bros. Is putting their entire 2021 slate on HBO Max for no additional cost. It comes out on HBO Max the same day, and with the way Corona's going, even though vaccine might be coming, maybe we'll see, the same day as theaters. People can just sit home, go into the HBO Max, and watch that movie for no additional cost. Don't have to go pay a ticket. Gotta pay the monthly fee, of course. But the slate of movies that Warner Bros. We got Doom, Wonder Woman 84, which I think comes out Christmas. So technically it starts in 2020. We've got Godzilla vs. Kong. There's so much. I'll see if I can find a list and I'll pop it up, probably right here. But just huge news. My family has already subscribed to HBO Max, so that should tell you how that's going. Shout out to the pirating services. I know y'all finna go crazy as well. But yeah, HBO Max. I see you. Warner Bros. Y'all making moves. I heard y'all catalog is already very good. So I'll definitely be checking it out, seeing how that is. We might have another contender in the streaming wars. I think HBO Max definitely put themselves out there. All right, we got college basketball. I'm gonna go to next. Head to the college basketball world. Got some brief things to talk about. I'll start off with yesterday. I saw Villanova beat Texas. Texas beat Carolina. I have to give a shout out to Matt Coleman. He's been playing great. Oak Hill alum. He's been playing out of his mind this year. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, also former 5-star, him for Villanova. They've been those two players. Coleman for Texas, JRE for Nova. They've been playing phenomenal this year. Really need to be on some draft boards, I think, if they keep this up. But yeah, Nova gets the big win there. Nova took a loss earlier in the week. Texas took a big win on that Coleman buzzer beater against North Carolina. The big matchup, however, was supposed to be the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, Gonzaga and Baylor, respectively. We're supposed to take on each other, and that would have been a great game. But COVID hit Gonzaga, and of course it's been postponed. But hopefully they can get that done. Hopefully they can stay the number 1 and number 2, and we can get that matchup, because that's surefire to be a very, very good matchup. Now let's talk about some of the Bluebloods here. Let's talk about some Bluebloods. Kentucky. Kentucky is trash. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Kentucky is trash. They just lost to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech lost to Mercer this year. This is not a good Georgia Tech team. But this is also clearly not, at the current moment, a good Kentucky team. And I'm not sure how much. Coach Cal, one of the best coaches in the game, his reputation precedes itself. I don't know how much better, even from just looking at a potential standpoint, it's going to get, if I'm being honest. Oliver Sarr looks like he should be still playing at Wake Forest. T. Clark has looked pretty good. So I think Terrence Clark is going to be fine. Devin Askew looks like he should be playing high school basketball. I'm going to be completely honest. He has looked awful. Again, and I like him, like Dev. I like BJ, who I'm about to get to. But he's not ready. He looks like a fish out of water right now. And he's a liability. He's a liability, both sides, just all around liability for that Kentucky team. And I didn't believe I would be saying this, but I have to say, for those people that had somehow started sneaking BJ Boston into the top 3 conversation for the draft, what were you thinking? I think the hype got a little bit too... You got too lost in the sauce. Because BJ Boston has been awful. He's been I hate to say it, but BJ's been garbage. He has played bad. I know it's early days. Even for Askew, it's early days. Even for Duke, who I'm about to get to, it's early days. Early in the season, 2 Hall of Fame coaches. Development's going to happen. But man, for all the hype that BJ Boston was getting, boy, has he been a disappointment. And I thought BJ was going to be better than this. I didn't think he was going to be as elite as people were saying and rating him. I think he's a good scorer, but he's not some... And he has the potential to be a great scorer and a great shooter, but he is not by any means a great shooter right now. Even at Sierra Canyon, he wasn't some, like, surefire, this is the guy's straight knockdown. He showed flashes of that, but he was never that. So I think people got too lost in that potential and what he could be and not what he is right now. And right now, BJ's got a lot of growing. I think it'll come eventually, but it might take a while. And it might just take a while for this whole Kentucky team. And for right now, it's going to be a very brutal. I don't know. This could end up being like a North Carolina situation from last year where traditional blue blood, high players, but it just doesn't click this year, and they struggle throughout the season. Have one of their worst seasons in recent memory. I think that could happen to Kentucky. Now, because I'm very partial here, we like to keep it fair here on the 815 exchange. I gotta shred Duke a little bit. I think we play Illinois coming up. We're gonna lose that game. We have some bright spots, but we just I have hopes for this team. I have a lot more hope for this team than I do for Kentucky, because I think we've shown a lot more. We've had the flashes of freshmen in its early days. Jalen Johnson does everything well, and not just like average, like really well, except for his shot. Gotta work on that. You gotta be able to be a consistent jump shooter. For him to hit his potential and be as good as he could be, and he could be elite, he's gotta work on that jump shot. If Zion can become a consistent jump shooter, like he was at Duke, where it wasn't like, oh dear, Zion's about to shoot. It was, okay, teams need to respect this a little bit. Besides him just being dominant in the post. I think Jalen needs to get that, especially where I think he's a 3 long-term and not a 4. I think he'll be at that small forward position, even though we're positionless basketball. But still, I think that's better suited for him. I think he's more natural in that position. Definitely got to work on that jump shot. Roach got to get better. Wendell Moore Jr. Oh, my gosh. I really thought Wendell was going to make a jump. I thought he was going to be that great star wing player we were going to have, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. He hasn't shown really much of any development, especially scoring. He's got some goose eggs so far this season. I don't even want to talk about his shooting percentage. He just hasn't made the improvements that I think Wendell needs to make, and it's having an effect on the team. Matthew Hurt's been great. He's made the jump. But I'm still waiting for Wendell Moore to make the jump. And I'm less and less being sure that it's going to happen, to be honest. But, early days for the Bluebloods. They're struggling. Gonzaga Baylor gets canceled. Hopefully it can happen. That's college basketball. Okay. Let's see. We got the NFL. Per usual, you know how this goes. New Orleans beats Atlanta 21-16. Taysom Hill 27 for 37, 232, 2 touchdowns. I think this is one of the best games he's played at quarterback. Almost saw some glimpses of BYU Taysom Hill out there, but And me and my friends we were having a conversation about Taysom and the Saints quarterback situation. As Drew, of course, is in his last 1 or 2 seasons. And what they should do there. If Taysom Hill can play like he played this week, I definitely think he could be that bridge quarterback. I think the Saints definitely should go and get their developmental guy in this upcoming draft to help groom and shape as their future quarterback. But if Hill can play like this, I definitely could see him being that bridge guy for them while they groom this young prospect. They also have a lot of players that are being their prime, like AK-41 and Mike. So having a bridge quarterback is very important for this team, especially since they're currently the number 1 seed in the NFC. And we'll see if Taysom can continue to hold it down if Drew cannot play. Lions get the win 34-30 over the Bears. They rally and win late. Stafford 402 yards. Stafford 402 yards passing. He had 3 touchdowns. Great game for him. Marvin Jones 8 receptions, 116 and a touchdown himself. So how about that? Let's talk about the Browns. Yes, the Browns are 9-3. And they're sitting right in that first wild card spot. As, of course, the Steelers are undefeated. We'll see if they can continue it today. I think they will. They play Washington. The Browns went on the road and beat the Titans 41-35. Almost let them come back. But Baker Mayfield threw 4 touchdowns in the first half. Had 334 and went 25 for 33. And what was possibly his best game of the season. The longest active playoff streak of missing the playoffs is in jeopardy, man. I'm telling y'all. The Browns might be putting it together. They're hitting on all cylinders. They're hitting right this year. It's been very impressive to watch. I'm very impressed. This is a statement game, I think. Tennessee is a very good team. I think they've proved that this year. They're 8-4 themselves. And for Cleveland to go out and Baker to go out and play like that, even without OBJ, I commend you. I commend you, Browns fans, once again for the consecutive, I don't know how many consecutive weeks this is, but shout out to y'all. Y'all have weathered the storm. The Browns, we can say it now. They're going to have a winning record. They are a good team, ladies and gentlemen. The Cleveland Browns are a good team. I can't believe it. The Dolphins beat the Bengals 19-7. Nothing too remarkable about that game. There was almost a brawl. I saw Brian Flores getting active. That's why they love you. Vikings beat the Jaguars in overtime. Dan Bailey had an awful game, but was able to hit like a 20-yarder to win the game. Harrison Smith is still... He's got to be a future Hall of Fame safety. He is still one of the best safeties in the game. Justin Jefferson, 9 receptions, 121, 1 touchdown. Shout out to Jay Jettas. Dude's a beast. My boy Raheem, he called it. He said he was going to be a great one. And so far, Jettas has been a great one for the Vikings. They get the dub. The Jaguars continue their race for 1 Trevor Lawrence. And speaking of the Trevor Lawrence race, their toughest competitor, the Jaguars, are the 0-11. 0-12. The 0-12 New York Jets, who fired Greg Williams after he called an all-out blitz on the play that ends up losing them the game. I texted my father that this game was over when the Raiders went out on turnover and downs with about 1 minute to go. But I forgot this was the New York Jets. And they will lose at all costs this year. They're not going to win a game. There's no way they win a game. They fired Greg Williams for tanking. I don't know how they lost this game. I'm going to be honest. Calling an all-out blitz when clearly it's a Hail Mary situation with 5 seconds to go, I think that will do it. I think that'll lose you the game. But I don't think the Jets will beat anybody. They're just terrible. Just terrible. Please don't ruin Trevor Lawrence. If y'all pick him, please do not ruin this man. Please. And why is Adam... if they're trying to lose, Adam Gase is the right head coach. Technically speaking, if they want to keep losing and get that 0-16 and clinch that first overall pick, the Jaguars are making it real interesting. Maybe they should keep Adam Gase. But he's got to be gone as soon as the offseason starts. Adam Gase should not be a member of the Jets in any type of fashion. In any way. Raiders, that was a very sus game for y'all. That game should have not been that competitive. Y'all are supposed to beat them. It's the Jets. Colts beat the Texans 26-20. Hated for Deshaun. I know he had that emotional moment. T.Y. helped comfort him. He fumbled there, got a bad snap. Colts get the win. I believe that moves the Colts to 8-4 and the Texans to 4-8. So yeah, tough situation for them. The Cardinals are 6-6 as they lose at home to the Los Angeles Rams, who have now tied for the NFC West lead, one of the most competitive divisions in all of football. Goff goes 37 for 47, 351 and a touchdown. Kyler, despite his 3 touchdowns, under 200 yards passing. Rams just outplayed them, played a better team game, did what they had to do to win. Rams look very good. Cardinals have been very up and down. They've had very high highs, and like this week, they've had very low lows. Still got a lot to work on with that team. I would definitely say still a lot to work on there. The biggest upset of the week is the Giants and the Seahawks. The Giants are now 5-7, and somehow shut down Russell Wilson and DK to only scoring 12 points in Seattle. Don't know how the Giants pulled this one off. They had Colt McCoy starting. Seahawks, what happened? What happened? Where did we go wrong? I said none of the NFC East teams deserve to be in the playoffs, but I mean, if the Giants keep winning, then I might have to rescind that statement. I don't know how they're winning with this roster, with this coaching staff, but they're winning, and that's all that matters. All that matters is the dub, and the Giants are getting wins and kind of separating from the rest of the NFC East. We'll see what happens. I'm shocked. I'm in disbelief, but nonetheless, Patriots beat the crap out of the Chargers 45-0. This was never close. This was domination from the start. Cam had 2 touchdowns. I think, he ran for 2, threw for 1. Herbert played his worst game of the season probably. 26 for 53, 209, 2 picks. Pat scored twice on special teams. Very Bill Belichick-esque dominant game. Big win for the Patriots. They moved to 6-6. The Chargers obviously are going to probably end up with a top 10 pick here. Despite their high points, they are still very much so not a good team. And lastly, Sunday Night Football. Chiefs handled the Broncos. No massive explosion like last week. Harrison Butker, player of the game. 5 field goals, 5 made. So shout out to him. Patty Mahomes over 300 yards. Kelsey over 100 yards receiving. Drew Lock is not the guy. I think that's pretty certain at this point. But yeah, good win for the Chiefs. They moved to 11-1. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the roundup. Yes. We have reached the roundup here of episode 18 of the 815 Exchange. And let's see. American soccer. We had a big Saturday in American soccer. Or football for my international audience and my people that prefer me calling it football. For the first time ever, 3 Americans in 3 of the major leagues all scored on the same day. Weston McKennie, the midfielder for Juventus. Christian Pulisic for Chelsea. And of course, the American dream, Gio Reyna for Borussia Dortmund. It feels good to finally have hope in the American soccer program. In the American football program. It is, well, I should say American soccer because American football can get confusing. It feels good to have hope, to finally have a future. I don't think we're going to be like, the elite of the elite. But I think with this generation, we have kind of a golden generation coming up. And we're going to be very competitive. We're going to be able to finally compete with those teams. Will we win the World Cup? I'm not saying all that. I don't think we will. Will we win? We'll be competitive in CONCACAF for sure. We already kind of are, but, well, not the past couple years. But we'll be back competitive in CONCACAF. But what I'm trying to say is that we have a future. We have a future here in American soccer. We've been hearing everything about Christian Pulisic, but these other guys like Gio Reyna, only 18, he might even have more upside than Pulisic. Weston McKinney, Conrad De La Fuente, Sergino Dest, Josh Sargent, so many Musai, so many great young players we have coming from the States, and it's great to see. And yeah, very excited to see what happens there. Very excited to continue to be able to talk about American soccer and our development and those exciting young players and see what they do. Very excited to be able to do that here on the 815 Exchange. And yeah, so without further ado, I believe that is everything I have here on my notes. Let's see. For all my college students, hope exams went well. For my UNC Charlotte's people, this is our last full week of class. Thank God. We've almost made it. We do have exams starting next week, so good luck to you. Good luck to you. For my people taking exams this week, good luck to you. Wish you all the best. Hopefully we can end what's not been a great year. Hopefully we can have a great December. And yeah, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know. Please leave feedback. And yeah, without further ado, I say that a lot. Ocho, signing off.